Picture this. You meet someone who completely captivates your attention. Every conversation flows effortlessly. Every moment together feels electric, yet something intriguing happens when they're not around. Instead of forgetting them, you find yourself thinking about them more. You replay conversations, wonder what they're doing, and eagerly anticipate the next encounter. This isn't coincidence, it's psychology at work, demonstrating one of the most powerful principles of human attraction. Absence often holds more power than presence. The phenomenon isn't limited to romantic relationships. It applies to friendships, professional relationships, and any human connection where emotional investment exists. When someone masters the delicate balance between engagement and withdrawal, they tap into fundamental aspects of human psychology that have remained consistent throughout history. Understanding these principles isn't about manipulation. It's about recognizing how the human mind processes connection, desire, and value. Modern society has conditioned us to believe that constant availability equals care, that immediate responses demonstrate interest, and that sharing everything creates intimacy. Yet this approach often produces the opposite effect. When everything is readily available, nothing feels special. When someone is always present, their absence loses significance. When every thought is shared, mystery disappears along with curiosity. The ancient Stoics understood something profound about human nature that many contemporary relationship experts overlook. They recognize that emotional discipline and strategic detachment don't diminish connection, they enhance it. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca weren't advocating for coldness or indifference. Instead, they promoted a deeper understanding of how genuine attraction develops and how lasting connections are forged. The power of absence begins with a simple psychological truth. The human mind craves what it doesn't have. This isn't shallow or superficial, it's hardwired into our cognitive processing. When someone isn't constantly available, our minds fill the void with memories, fantasies, and idealizations. We remember the best moments, the strongest connections, and the most meaningful exchanges. This selective memory amplifies desire and creates emotional depth that constant presence simply cannot achieve. Consider how this principle operates in other areas of life. Limited edition products generate more demand than mass-produced items. Rare experiences feel more valuable than everyday occurrences. Exclusive opportunities create more excitement than widely available options. The same psychological mechanisms that drive these preferences also influence how we perceive and value relationships. From a Stoic perspective, this dynamic reflects something deeper than simple scarcity. It demonstrates the importance of emotional discipline and self-control. When you resist the urge to constantly reach out, continuously text, or always be available, you're practicing restraint. This restraint is magnetic because it demonstrates confidence, self-worth, and emotional stability. Women, like all people, are naturally drawn to those who exhibit these qualities because they suggest reliability and strength. The practice of strategic absence doesn't mean disappearing entirely or playing games with someone's emotions. Instead, it means creating space for appreciation to develop naturally. When you're together, be fully present, attentive, and engaged. Create high-quality moments that feel meaningful and memorable. Then, when you're apart, resist the urge to immediately fill the silence with messages, calls, or social media interactions. Allow the emotional impact of your shared time to resonate and deepen. This approach taps into the psychological concept of intermittent reinforcement, one of the most powerful motivators in human behavior. Rewards given unpredictably hold more power than those given consistently. When your presence becomes predictable, it loses its impact. When your attention is guaranteed, it loses its value. However, When your engagement varies, sometimes intense and focused, other times absent and independent, it creates an emotional dynamic that naturally generates interest and anticipation. The key lies in creating emotional peaks and valleys. People don't remember mundane, consistent experiences, they remember the highs and lows. When you're together, focus on creating peak experiences. Be genuinely interested in her thoughts, opinions, and experiences. Ask meaningful questions that go beyond surface-level conversation. Show appreciation for her uniqueness and make her feel truly seen and valued. These moments become emotional peaks that she'll revisit mentally when you're apart. After creating these meaningful connections, embrace the space between encounters. Don't immediately text about how much you enjoyed the time together or rush to schedule the next meeting. Let the emotional high linger, allowing her to transition from connection to longing naturally. This space gives her mind time to process the experience, recall the positive emotions, and build anticipation for future interactions. Mystery plays a crucial role in this dynamic. Humans are naturally curious creatures, drawn to what they don't fully understand. When you're slightly enigmatic, not cold or distant, but selectively revealing, you create intrigue. This doesn't mean being dishonest or playing character roles. Instead, it means sharing thoughtfully while maintaining some aspects of yourself as discoveries to be made over time. The art of mystery involves offering less about yourself while showing genuine interest in others. Ask questions about her life, thoughts, and experiences, but share selectively about yours. This creates an imbalance that generates curiosity. She'll find herself wondering about the parts of you she hasn't yet uncovered. And this mental engagement keeps you present in her thoughts even when you're physically absent. Dark psychology recognizes that when someone is left wanting more, they often replay conversations and imagine scenarios in their minds. This mental engagement is powerful because it keeps you actively present in her consciousness. However, the goal isn't to create anxiety or insecurity, it's to foster healthy curiosity and emotional investment. From a Stoic perspective, mystery reflects self-restraint and confidence. By not seeking constant validation or revealing everything about yourself immediately, you project quiet confidence. This trait is profoundly attractive because it suggests depth, stability, and self-assurance. The less you desperately seek approval, the more others want to give it. The less you reveal initially, the more they want to discover. Limited contact serves a similar purpose by increasing perceived value through scarcity. If you're always available, your presence becomes routine and expected. However, when you limit your availability not through game playing but through genuine self-respect and personal priorities, you make the time spent together more significant. This principle requires balance. Being too distant creates feelings of neglect, while being too available eliminates anticipation. The key is demonstrating that you have a full, rich life independent of any single relationship. When you prioritize your own goals, interests, and growth, you naturally become less available for constant communication and immediate responses. This isn't about being deliberately slow to respond or playing hard to get. It's about living authentically and purposefully. This approach requires patience and confidence in your self-worth. When you resist the urge to constantly check in, you're demonstrating that you value yourself and your time. This self-valuation naturally influences how others perceive and value you. People tend to treat us according to how we treat ourselves. And when you demonstrate self-respect through your actions, others respond accordingly. Communication extends far beyond words to include tone, body language, timing, and even silence. Often, what's left unsaid carries more power than what's spoken directly. When you're together, let your actions express your interest and appreciation. Pay attention to small details, show genuine care, and be fully present in the moment. Then, when apart, avoid flooding her with messages or seeking constant validation through communication. Intentional silence can speak volumes, creating contrast. That heightens awareness of your absence. This doesn't mean being unresponsive or dismissive. It means being thoughtful and selective about when and how you communicate. A well-timed message carries more impact than constant chatter, and meaningful conversations create stronger connections than superficial small talk. The role of silence in building desire cannot be overstated. Purposeful silence creates space for reflection, introspection, and appreciation. Well-timed pauses in conversation allow your words to resonate more deeply, giving others space to think and respond meaningfully. When you resist the urge to fill every quiet moment with words, you demonstrate control and confidence traits that are inherently attractive. Silence also creates opportunities for longing to develop. When you intentionally step back or give someone space, it allows them to reflect on your presence and contributions to their life. This reflection often leads to heightened emotional attachment as they recognize the value you bring to their experiences. The push-pull dynamic represents another sophisticated psychological principle rooted in unpredictability. This involves alternating between moments of closeness and slight distance to create emotional tension that keeps relationships exciting and engaging. Push moments include showing genuine interest, offering compliments, and being actively involved in interactions. Pull moments involve slight detachment, focusing on your own pursuits, or leaving some things unsaid. This dynamic works because people are naturally more attracted to unpredictability than consistency. When someone can't quite figure you out or predict your next move, they become more invested in the relationship. However, this approach must be balanced carefully. Too much push can feel overwhelming or desperate, while too much pull can seem cold or disinterested. The Stoic application of this principle ensures it remains authentic rather than manipulative. Stoicism emphasizes maintaining control over your emotions and actions while practicing detachment from outcomes. When you engage in push-pull dynamics, from a place of genuine self-assurance rather than strategic manipulation, it becomes a natural expression of confident, balanced behavior. Building emotional security through detached confidence represents perhaps the most attractive trait in any relationship context. Detached confidence means remaining grounded and self-assured without becoming overly attached to specific outcomes or external validation. This creates a sense of independence that is both empowering and magnetic. Detachment, in this context, doesn't mean disinterest. It means you're not overly reliant on others for your happiness or self-worth. This perspective aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy, which teaches focus on what you can control while letting go of what you cannot. Your thoughts, actions, and emotional responses remain within your control, while others' reactions and decisions do not. This mindset creates a foundation of emotional stability that others find incredibly attractive. When you're emotionally secure, you create a safe space for others to be authentic and vulnerable. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude calmness and self-assurance because it makes them feel at ease and protected. True confidence differs significantly from arrogance. Confidence stems from self-awareness, personal growth, and genuine self-acceptance, while arrogance typically masks insecurity through superiority and attention-seeking behavior. Confident individuals don't need to belittle others or constantly seek validation because their self-worth comes from internal sources rather than external approval. Nonverbal communication often carries more impact than spoken words and understanding. This principle allows you to leave lasting impressions without saying anything at all. Research consistently shows that people are highly influenced by nonverbal cues, with body language, facial expressions, and physical presence, communicating confidence, warmth, and attentiveness more effectively than words alone. Eye contact plays a particularly crucial role in nonverbal communication. Direct yet relaxed eye contact conveys confidence and interest while creating emotional connection. However, the key lies in balance. Too little eye contact suggests disinterest or insecurity, while too much can feel intimidating or aggressive. Natural, comfortable eye contact during conversations demonstrates presence and engagement. Subtle. Actions often matter more than grand gestures. Small demonstrations of thoughtfulness, holding a door, offering a genuine smile, remembering details from previous conversations can have profound impacts on how others perceive and remember you. These actions show consideration and presence, qualities that stand out in a world where many people seem distracted or self-absorbed. The Stoic approach to nonverbal communication emphasizes intentionality and composure. Every action, regardless of size, should reflect your values and self-assurance. This doesn't mean being overly calculated or artificial. It means being mindful of how your presence affects others and choosing to consistently demonstrate respect, confidence, and authenticity. Physical presence extends beyond appearance to include posture, movement, and energy. Open body language, standing tall, avoiding defensive postures, facing others directly during conversations, communicates confidence and approachability. These subtle adjustments in how you carry yourself can dramatically influence how others perceive and respond to you. The ultimate goal isn't to make someone miss you through manipulation or game playing, it's to understand human nature and embrace your own growth in ways that naturally create valuable, meaningful connections. By mastering the balance between presence and absence, practicing emotional restraint and embodying Stoic principles of self-control and detachment, you create dynamics where your value is recognized and appreciated. True attraction isn't built on constant attention or desperate pursuit. It develops through impactful, meaningful moments that linger in both mind and heart. When you focus on becoming the kind of person others naturally want to be around, when you develop genuine confidence and emotional security, and when you create space for appreciation to grow naturally, you tap into timeless principles of human psychology that transcend cultural trends and temporary strategies. The journey toward mastering these principles requires patience, self-reflection, and commitment to personal growth. It's not about following a script or implementing techniques mechanically. It's about understanding yourself and others deeply, enough to create authentic connections that naturally generate desire, respect, and lasting emotional investment. In a world full of constant noise and immediate gratification, those who understand the power of strategic presence and thoughtful absence will always stand out as genuinely attractive and memorable individuals.